Good morning. Let's see. Gotta check game startup, make sure I have no log statements. All right, we're good. Perfect. All right, let's hop in and continue working on things. So we are working on the Spellforge here. So I added another hitbox to the Spellforge, and basically when you hover over it, it will tell you what the potential spells to discover are for each thing. So I think this is pretty good. I also think, because I am now directly giving you information, that there needs to be a mana cost with well, how's that gonna work? Because you cycle through things. I feel like it's too cheap to just like specialize. It's too cheap. Let me see what we can do. Let's see. So basically, you put this down, right? You do that. And it cycles through all of these spell schools. Question is, how can you do that here? See, the problem is, if I make it to where you draw runes, like, they all have to mean something. I don't know, guys. I don't know how to solve this problem. There's gotta be some kind of additional cost to get like an incantation or an alteration spell. What can I use? I really could treat it like a ritual, but then I'm gonna have to like explain to people what you need to put around, you know, like what patterns to draw and stuff. I don't think that's the way to do this. And I can't use anything like elemental crystals, because elemental crystals don't have like a spell school. They would link to an essence type, which is not what we are working with. Man, this would be so much easier if I had items before. They were the old talismans, and I had like the talisman of like evocation, alteration. But then I retired all that stuff. It doesn't make sense to bring it in for this one thing. I could make more runes. Could do that. I could make rune patterns here that are, well, let me see here. It would be another row. And but people would get confused, right? It's not necessarily like a sigil for a ritual. It would be a sigil for, you know, like a sigil of alteration, right? A sigil of evocation, things like that. And then maybe you would just put one of those around, like draw it close enough, and it would detect it. But either way, right? Like, you would still have to draw a pattern. I don't know what the best approach is for this. So what is the problem, right? Well, maybe let's just think about that. What is the problem I'm trying to solve? In the new system, you can, you go from a list like this to a list like this, right? Because you can target specific attributes of a spell by marking it with, like, evocation or alteration or something like that. So this cost, right? The cost to write these runes on here, there needs to be some kind of cost associated. My quick fix before was just cycling through, like, one durability because you didn't know, unless you really looked what each spell did. Right? And so I was able to just cycle through. I can't really do that now. So what should the cost be? How do you craft this new stuff? Do I make more sigils? Do I call them marks? Like a mark of evocation? Does this become a new item that you kind of throw? Like you'd throw it with this and then you use the chalk? What's the best way to do this? See, the thing is, like, it seems like essence type is like a lot of the identity of my items, right? So it's either tier or essence type or both, right? So all of this stuff, right? All the crystals, each color crystal, right? Each elemental types ties to a specific essence type. The rune stones are all tiered. These don't really have any bearing at all, right? But even, like, mana torches and the mana lanterns are essence types. Even the basic stones, right, that you build out of, everything's like essence type. And of course, all of the spell ciphers. But I don't have anything... I mean, should this be like a small-scale ritual? Like a sigil of evocation? Seems like a lot of work, though, for... Well, I mean, we're talking about cost, right? There's a time cost and a material cost, so having to set up a ritual is a little bit of a time cost. Because you'd have to, like, put this down and... like, draw out the pattern. But the rituals can get messy because then people will assume they can take tier 1 stuff and use that. So I can't do that because this is only tier 2 and 3. What else do I have? What about this? The Arclight Furnace, but the problem is that's tied to essence type. How am I going to, like, throw this in, right? Throw it in, and then say, like, oh yeah, this is going to convert into an evocation, right? There's only 3 essence types. I can't even assign stuff in here, so that won't work. I mean, I could make more talismans, but then that is a straight up material cost. And the material cost it's not gonna really help. Like, I would prefer it to be a mana cost if possible. So I guess the different avenues I would have for mana cost would be like meditation, mana creation, right? Where you sit and meditate. But again, there's like, you can't, you know, it's like, okay, well, that would require either something in the offhand that would say, yeah, turn this into meditation. And I don't have any kind of talismans of evocation or any sigils of evocation. I would have to come up with like a new word. Relic? No. A rune of evocation? Right? And what would this item be? And how would you create it? I didn't expect adding this feature to to make me ask these kind of questions. Did not expect this. I gotta fix that hitbox. It's bothering me. Here, let's do that so I can run both at the same time. Hitbox. Spellforge. So I think this probably should go down to 8. Holy crap. Oh, wait. 0. This would be 8. There we go. Nope, never mind. Can I offer you a good, like, 9.95? Okay, so that is better. I think I need to push this out just a little bit more. Maybe bring it down? Maybe bring it down a little bit more? So maybe like a 6-0, and then let's just try to bump that up a little bit. No, it's not through there. Although I probably want this like that, and maybe this like that. Okay, so that's the one side. I think that's what I need. There we go. So the hitbox, it's a little better. It could be even better. Let's just try this at a 7 and try this at a 3-5. No, I don't like that. Okay, I think that's fine. But we gotta fix this. So this needs to be higher. What if I just make that a 2? That's better. Although now it's too far down. Well, actually, it's not. It's too thick. I think that's what the problem is. It's too thick. Dig in. Wait, what are we looking at? A way to cycle spell ciphers. Yeah, so Deegan, this is... So I created... People have mentioned difficulty kind of with spell research, right? They don't know what spells there are. The handbook can be kind of tricky if you don't know keywords. So my thought was, I create something new here, right? Another part of the spell cipher that will tell you a list of the potential spells each thing will trigger, right? So you look at something like this, right? Like right now there's nothing. You pop this in, and then you can look at this, right? And it tells you a list of all the potential spells to discover when you research this. Now, what the problem here is that if you start looking at specific things, right? Like this is specifically the tier 2 dark spell cipher of evocation. There are only 2 spells. You know what I mean? So you can turn a list like this, right, into that, right? Or to that. Or to that. So that means that the cost of making this, right? Like basically you would just put down the cipher and then cycle through evocation, alteration, conjuration, and all it would cost you is 1 durability of magic chalk. Now that I'm showing you specifically, right? Like this would be removing any of that research you had to do yourself, right? Either targeting a spell, putting the context clues together. Oh, fear. That is a tier 2 spell, and it's dark, and I can see here, because before, you had to, you know, do something like this, right? Like, here's fear, I gotta click on it, right? So it's a tier 2 dark evocation, right? So I know what to make. And I would have to, you know, go through and then kind of keep cycling through, right? Until I made what I wanted to make. I'm giving you the answers, which means that this is too cheap now. This needs to have some kind of cost. The problem is, I don't have any way right now to cycle through. If I straight up give it a mana cost and it takes, you know, like for a tier 2 cycle, right? It takes 50 mana a pop. That means evocation's first on the list, right? And that's only going to cost 50 mana. But if you want a conjuration spell, that's going to cost 200 mana. You know what I mean? There's no way to, like, target a specific thing. So that's what I'm trying to solve for. What should the cost be? How do you turn this into something like this, right? Or an alteration one. Right? Or the incantation one. Everything else, we were looking at things in the mod, right? Like, everything else is tied to an essence type. I used to have, they were like runes of evocation, alteration. They were like physical items. And that was for the old ritual system, but I retired all that stuff. That used to be the old talismans. The talisman means something different now. Right? But I don't know if it's worth creating items, because that's just like kicking the can a little further down the road. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, now I have to find a meaningful way to create each of these talismans. And those talismans are gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, it's specific. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Honestly, and this is entirely how I feel, if you enable spell cycling, I think it should only be for spells your character has already discovered. But that's not a bad idea, but now I'm saving another watched attribute to the player to keep track of every discovery. And this game does not handle many watched attributes well. We've all come to realize throughout the years. Like when I started making this mod, I'd specifically sent something to Tyron, you know, the main VS guy, and I said, hey, I want to use watched attributes. I'm going to be using a lot of watched attributes, because that's how I want to track all the spell stuff. I need that specific data unique to a player. And I was told in the beginning, yeah, you could have as many watched attributes as you can. Technically, he was right. I can have a number as many watched attributes as I can, until you start actually having to use the data. And then, you know, it's like, okay, well, if 10 things or more need an update throughout all the watched attributes, it triggers a refresh of every watched attribute. Which means every second that you need to test or update something, that was the initial lag spikes of this mod. So then I had to get clever with combining attributes and offsetting ticks and doing all this stuff to fix problems that I was told were not problems. So I am cautious adding another watched attribute, because I'm gonna have to, like, when you're looking at this, it's continuously refreshing, right? Like, that's how the HUD information works. Like, it's doing it multiple times a second. And what I had to do here is create separate static dictionaries of what each thing can discover, right? So I'm not rebuilding dictionaries constantly and parsing through. If I put two dictionaries side by side and I say, this is a list of everything and this is what you discover, piece everything together, and now this is your pruned out list of things that you can see, you know what I mean? And then if I get fancy with it and have, like, oh, there are 4 question marks, right? You know, that you see 4 more things to discover. I am dynamically rebuilding a dictionary on a thing that refreshes, like, what, 15, 20, maybe 30 times a second? That's gonna cause some wicked overhead, right? That's gonna be a beast. So I don't know what the best approach is. You know, by giving people the information right here, making it easy, it means that this conversion needs to change. This needs a cost. And a cost that doesn't make conjuration the absolute worst thing to research in the game, because it's you would have to spend, like, if it's 50 mana a pop, you would have to spend 200 mana to even get to here. And then you'd need to throw it in and have the RNG gods hopefully help you out. Yeah, and at that point, the number of watched attributes is going to go crazy. Yeah. And I can try to do something where maybe it's 1 watched attribute, right? And I just make it like a string array, but it wouldn't necessarily be 1. It would have to be a watched attribute for each school, right? And essence type. So that's going to be 9 watch attributes, being conservative, but it's the rebuilding of that dictionary that's going to take. Like, you look at this and it's going to start lagging out hardcore, and the longer the list is, the laggier it's going to get. So something like this, it's going to tank. I will show you what the frame rates are going to be like. I can show you here. And this is what happened before. Here we go. Let's move that. I have a feeling this is going to be very unhappy. So I need to copy this out. And it's gonna be in this method. It froze my game. I hit escape. There we go. See what it's like. I can't move. So let me undo what I just did. That's gonna be the problem. There we go. I can move again. Right, so I don't mind giving you the list of things, right? But this needs to change first. And maybe I do end up keeping track of what you have personally researched. I don't know what good it would do. It would demystify or mystify things a little bit. But what is it really obfuscating you from, right? Like, you'll know, oh, one of these is befriend animal, the other one's question mark. I'm pretty sure if there's a cost for this already, you'll just want to see what your potentials are anyways. But maybe not, maybe not. But I think that may be a different question as well. Let me... Got to get back to where I was before. I think it's here. There we go. That's going to be a better representation. Doesn't need to be as thick. Maybe something like that. Not quite. Let's do it by like maybe 6. And make this like 13. Let's try that. Look at that mental math. That's pretty darn close. Needs to be maybe a little shorter. And just a little wider. So like a 1.5, an 8.5, and a little shorter. So let's do like a 9.25. That is spot on right there. Looking good. From the back it looks good, the front it looks good. Back in 1.21.6, before the overhaul, I used the grind for new spells, and it absolutely ate my sanity and magic chalk. A cycling system isn't bad, but cycling through to get the exact one you want feels kind of broken. Yeah, right? That's why, you know, like, I think this is a good idea. To tell you what, like, this is better, right? This at least tells you, yeah, this tier 2 neutral thing that I have, it's a big list, but it is a list that's at least visible to you. I feel comfortable giving you this information. Giving you targeted information like this, that feels broken, right? Which means these need an additional cost. And I don't have a good way to do that, because most things are tied to an essence type, right? Light, neutral, or dark. It's not really tied to a spell school. So that means, like, all 3 of these, right? Tied to an essence type, obviously. The Arclight Furnace, it can change one item into one other thing through essence type, right? So I can't throw a blank thing in and be like, I want the evocation version of this neutral thing, right? It can't do that. So that's out. Oculus is strictly for spell ciphers, right? So that kind of recipe is out. Like, or for grimoires. This, if it's going to be a waste, it's going to add 12 more tablets. Yeah, 4. Actually, it's going to add 8 more tablets. No, because it's 4 per color. So that would be 12 times 2. because there's a tier 2 and a tier 3, so that's going to be 24 more tablets. That is way too much. And then the tablets, right? The tablets are kind of, in a way, they are tied to an essence type as well. So that's going to be confusing, right? So I can't use that. I like the idea of using mana as a cost, but so far the things I have are like meditation insight, right? So, or the meditation crafting, right? So like holding one of these in your hand while you meditate, having a mana cost, converting this into something else. But the problem is, I would need to look at something in your offhand, which cycles back to that talisman of evocation, right? Or some throwaway item that you now have to keep track of, you know, that's used only for this one thing, unless I take that item and also embed it in stuff like this, right? Creating stuff like this. So really a fear recipe that's an evocation spell, you would be expected to throw a couple of those evocation talismans in. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's adding cheap value to an item like that. So then the only other thing I'm thinking is, okay, the closest thing I'm comfortable with is you have the magic chalk, which everyone knows already, and then you kind of, you know, use it, but this cycle, it can't be like this. There needs to be another stimulus. And then I'm thinking, well, what if I make a mark of evocation or a mark of alteration, right? So it would be something like this, and it would be a type of ritual, you know, and then you would put like marks around it, and then you would use the chalk. It would be 50 mana or whatever the mana cost is. It would consume those marks, and I can see, oh, it's an evocation, bam, turn that into the evocation. But then I'm having to record a new way of doing a ritual, right? Like this is basically a ritual with less steps and no reagent that I now have to document in the guidebook with a picture. People are gonna want some way to like sneak and right click this item to show like a highlight system. I can't do that because this isn't a block I control. This is the ground storable default block. So I can't embed more logic into this, right? So I'm kind of limited on how I can show players that you now need to wrap this in something meaningful. Cycling system isn't bad, but cycling through to get the exact one you want, yeah, it feels broken. Maybe a general grouping, like have evocation require a fire starter. Well, are you're talking about an item catalyst? Because if it's like, you know, pretend this is fire starter, right? You throw fire starter out, and then you use this, I still need to document, right? Like people are used to, in the heads-up display, to say, you know, what the reagents are going to be or what the effect's going to be, or a way to like sneak and right-click, right? To be told, like, oh, you're missing this for evocation or this for incantation, or you know what I mean? And then I would need some kind of balance in those items, right? So fire starter for evocation, I could see that, but what is the healing one, right? Is that a poultice? You know, that could work. But what about incantation, right? What is that gonna be? And then conjuration, you know, like what are maybe comparatively cheap items that could be used that doesn't make one spell school significantly harder to research than the other. Hey Quixote. I'm not sure what the right solution is here. I don't know. All I know is giving you this information is very broken. It's too easy. These need a cost. Now, I don't know what that cost is. But at least for now, I have a way for you to see your potential discoveries by looking at a specific part of the Spellforge. Game balancing, my nemesis. Tell me about it. My nemesis, too. It's rough. Either way, I can continue. Let's get some texture mapping done here. I'm already doing texture swapping. Oh, I'm not. Oh, I'm not doing texture swapping here. I think this was on my to-do list. Like, I wanted all of this to be rusted out. And then when you place something valid here, it would, or not that, right? But when you put the temporal or the primordial fragment on, it would turn all of this to the rusty glow color. I think that's what I wanted to do, but I never got around to doing it. Let me add that to the list so I don't forget again. For the Spellforge, add texture swapping that changes the now temporal teal color, changes the now temporal teal color of the model to be default rust. Place primordial fragment in, then swap rust to teal. Not gonna lie, I was suggesting material component in the Arclight Furnace or something else to cycle from one neutral spell cipher of evocation to another. Didn't know you were playing with the idea of cycling blanks. That's on me. I was confused on the specifics. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah, and I can't add anything to that. This holds one item. I don't want to make the Arclight Furnace something where it's taking in multiple resources. Because then people are going to be like, well, why can't I just put anything in here? It's strictly an output slot, right? So what is that going to be? Like another input slot that I now have to add to the model and a model update, and you know what I mean? Just for this one thing. So I don't want to overexpand. And this would be easy if I had like an offhand item already that was tied to a specific spell school. It's tough. This is rough. Oh, guys, wait a minute. I do have one item. Oh, man, this could be it. This could be it. I can't lose it. I have attunement cores. What if I make it to where you need an attunement core? Right? I put this attunement core on. I am now attuned to evocation. That means any runes that I write can cost 50 mana without any of this, and it will give me the evocation specific cipher at a cost of a burst of mana, right? What do we think about that? Oh, Evocation Mage can make evocation-specific spell ciphers. Conjuration can make the conjuration-specific ones. All you need to do is be able to equip it. I see that sounds great. Additional requirements, and I see the other limiting factor was the fact that this is ground storable, which is a default game's block and block entity and block inventory in that entity. It's not something I can interact with without ripping it apart in Harmony, which can cause huge issues to any mod that uses the ground storable through JSON, right? I could potentially blow up all that stuff, but I can parse it out through the magic chalk, and I can do the check, right? Like, oh, you're trying to change this to something? Are you wearing something in your emblem slot, right? For evocation. Or a specific spell school, right? Is it one of my items? You know, what school is it from? And do you have the mana cost, right? I can intercept both of those. And then at the time of using this, right before using it, I could send the packet to consume the mana. Beautiful. Let's do it. Oh, this is fucking great. I was worried. Not anymore. Magic Chalk. This is a tool. Item Magic Chalk. So this is gonna be interactions. Here we go. So this is the ground storable stuff, right? This is where things need to change, right? So first things first. I need to see if you are wearing the specific equipment. Do I have access to player? I do. By entity agent, do I convert that to player at all? I do not. Oh, Vice, this is sloppy. If by entity... Oh, here we go. Hold on. This is going to be a return statement, right? And I'll say, by entity is entity player. I think I could do is not, right? That is the specific way, right? If this is not the entity player, just stop what you're doing. Now what I'm going to say is entity player equals by entity as entity player, right? Only players have access to this, and I'm putting this as a failsafe just in case there's a mod that adds NPCs that can also run on interact start logic that are not players. This would stop that dead in its tracks and not cause a crash. I'm gonna say all the things inside my head. Now I can start pruning out all of this stuff. And that means I now have player here, right? So I could do player dot inventory manager dot get own inventory. Now I'm specifically want, I wrote all this code out before in here, right? So it would be getting player inventory, iterating a delegate through update wearable stats, right? I'm making sure the slot item stack has the wearable soulbound. Okay, this is it. This is it. Inventory get slot ID, slot equals, right? So I can come up here. And pop it in just like this, player.player. Right? So that's going to take a snapshot of your player inventory. And then down here, I can have an if statement. I need to get a slot ID. I need to get a slot ID for a specific slot, right? So let's do it this way. Get rid of that equals. That dot. See, this is getting a slot ID. This is not getting an item stack. So I need to take this further. Let's cut that out. So let's do inv dot, or better yet, right? Because this is an inventory, so I should be able to pop an array in there and then do an empty. So if that's the array, then I can go in the inventory, get the slot ID. This is gonna want an item slot though. So I think it's gonna look something like this. And let's see. My God, this 1.23 update's probably, it's gonna potentially fuck all of this up. Maltese, if you're watching this, please be a bro. Don't be a dick. That's all I have to say, man. Make changes carefully. Because I can already see the freaking sea of red that this mod is going to have. I thought 700 plus initial errors are going to be bad. That shit's going to be like a fucking 1,000, I feel like, in 1.23. It may actually push me into modding a different game primarily. I'm just saying. Like, oh, fuck. Update breaking mods again? Well, yeah, the VS team is saying 1.23 is going to be the combat update, and they're bringing Maltese, the guy famously known for creating a mod that divides the modding community to either mods that work with combat overhaul or the mods that don't. So, yeah, it could be... It could be great. Maybe this guy is going to be the cream that rises to the top and makes the combat fantastic, and, you know, or it's going to be the update that is a lateral move, if not makes it worse. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to reserve judgment. I've been asked in a couple other streams what I thought of Maltese, you know, what I thought about the update. I don't know. Personally, I don't know the guy. I've heard things from other modders. Like, I don't know, right? The cards have yet to fall. But I am kind of foreseeing... My clairvoyance is kicking in a bit. I'm scared. I'm a little scared. A little scared. I think the mod he made, for what it does, like the way it looks and the systems it uses, I think it's well done. I don't think it helped combat. Like it didn't make me feel like combat was 1,000 times better or anything. I felt like it was more like a lateral move, but that was my, my opinion. There are people who love it, who say it's so much better than vanilla. And there are people who get combat overhaul, not for the combat overhaul part, but like a couple of the little fixes for like archery and stuff, right? Like, so it's not full combat overhauling that they want it for. And other people have been vocal about breaking up the other parts of what combat overhaul adds, right? To get separate things. That way they can keep the combat they like with the few fixes that they like, I mean, building as a modder, it's different than having to fit within existing structures with direction from the rest of the VS team. Yes and no, Quixote. We assume that the rest of the VS team is going to be, policing this stuff. But Combat Overhaul, right, that the guy that made it is famous for changing core things like slot IDs and things that completely break Combat Overhaul with other mods and having other modders scramble, right? And all it takes is a 1.23.2 or .3 version where they decided to rename the underlying, inventory, which trashes all the inventory. Or now this emblem for Combat Overhaul, right? They changed it from item ID 23 to 47 for whatever weird reason, because Maltese like the way the numbers are, and the push went through and it just broke numerous mods and anything that was relying on that item ID to stay the same. Dude's done it a couple times before. I would like to think the VS team is policing it, but I don't think that they're going to be able to trudge through every code. You know what I mean? Like, accidents happen. I don't know. I'm a little more pessimistic with this because it has happened in that mod, right? You know what I mean? It's like, if I go to Picasso, I expect a Picasso-style painting. If they are touting Maltese as the guy that's running the combat update, pretty much, I'm going to be expecting Maltese-level updates. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I not right in my expectations? I think I'm justified in it. I think I'm justified. Let's pop a return in here. Let's put a print statement in, just to make sure that I am capturing things up to date, right? Has emblem. There, has no emblem, or has emblem. Let's pop returns into each. I don't want it to go further than this. So now, has emblem, good. Let's take it off. Whoops. Has no emblem, good. We're intersecting it here. We're intersecting it. That is what I'm saying. Yes, there could be growing pains, but the VS team is not going to let one person break things for an extended length of time without some form of checks and balances. It would be like if I had the skill and you hired me to be part of ViesCraft and just made changes as I wanted. You wouldn't let that go for long as ViesCraft is your baby. I understand that, Quixote. but it takes that one update to get pushed out, right? We're talking about an underlying string change that should not have changed, that suddenly changed because now another person has access, right? I don't know what their audit system's like with an update. The updates that we get and the things that break, I would like to think that the audit system could be a lot better. I mean, volumetric clouds still, the lighting system still has problems with relighting things. You know what I mean? And you are giving someone who is fast and loose access to core game code. That's all I'm saying. Greetings, hey Lunatic Mag! How you doing? It's been a while. How goes it? It is going well. We are creating new things. New things. Exciting things. Thank you so much for the sub. Tis been a little while indeed, yeah. We are talking about the 1.23 update. And the combat update and what that is potentially going to look like. Honestly, I'm not upset about it. I'm not happy about it. I am waiting. I am waiting to see something substantial, right? Tell me how combat is going to get better. So far, we got a name, a modder name, who made a mod that is very hot and cold in this community. Hot and cold for many reasons, right? Some people, it seems like there's a group of people who love the changes Combat Overhaul adds, and maybe, and you could break that down into two things too, right? Do they like the changes because it is a marginal step up? Because the base game's combat sucked for a long time. A game that makes it feel like armor is too punishing to put on needs to redesign what that armor actually does. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. I also see you're back to Vintage Story modding. Yes, I am. How'd the Hightail modding goes? It went well. We made the foundation of a magic mod, and I'm letting Hightail bake. I have found some limitations on modding, right? Like access to things that will come in time. So I figured I would continue with Vintage Story. 1.22 was an update that added, me personally, it added absolutely nothing that I wanted. Like, there was one thing, my hope for 1.22, that was the status effect system. We were promised a status effect system. Lo and behold, it kind of seems like the devs took a look at it, saw that they were probably running into the same problems I run into on the Magic mod, where client and server can kind of desynchronize. And they said, there's no way we can do this now. Hopefully at some point in time they can. I kind of doubt it with the approach they took for this game. We'll see. But no status effect system means that, you know, no problems were fixed. It's rough. 'Tis rough. But I will be getting back into Hightail. I also got tired of spending like a week trying to figure out something with no guides, right? Like when I was modding at the time, like the Hightail guides that they were pushing out, like they were too slow. You know, like I had already figured out something that took weeks to figure out, like a couple months, you know, like a month or 2 months after. And then there was finally written documentation on how to do this very simple thing. So I'm allowing they're allowing them time to grow their documentation, and then what I'll probably do is start the mod from clean slate, using guides and documented proof of and examples on how to do things instead of figuring it all out. I would very much like to mod for Hightail. Honestly, with 1.23, it may push me into the arms of Minecraft. This stream may end up becoming a Minecraft / Hightail modding stream. And Vintage Story would come up as a guest star, right? Maintenance. You know, not really adding new things to the mod. Unless 1.24 adds something that makes it worthwhile. I feel like the last time I was excited about an update was 1.20, because we got the boats and the actual mounting system. But I can count on definitely one hand the amount of updates that I've been excited about. And 1.22 was not one of them. Neither was 1.21. Right, because it was 1.20 that added the Elks and the big boats. And then 1.21 was basically a 1.20 fix update, right? We wasted a whole revision fixing stuff that they could, and they had that update revision out, right? They kind of quickly moved away from it. We were on it for what, a month or two? It's like, if it was only going to take a month or two to fix shit, should have just kept 1.20 going a month or two longer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Vice makes his own game when? That may actually be coming soon, too. I may end up looking at Minecraft modding and being like, why don't I just try and make my own game? I've done stuff before in Unity. I created a Minecraft-like platforming game where I had world generation and everything. Like, I had figured all that stuff out in Unity. Using code, using C#. So, all right, let's continue this. So I can now intercept. I can detect when you have an emblem and when you do not have an emblem. I need to send a message now. I think this is client side only. Let's do a check here. Let's put in player .world.side. Copy, paste. There we go. Client side only. Okay, so that means that I'm gonna have to send a packet to the player with I gotta start feeding people information, right? So has no emblem. Let's do rm helpers dot message with just a message. I don't need to add a variable. I've been working in the Godot recently. The growth of Godot over the years, in particular, has been amazing. I may end up looking at that too. I would need to consider what kind of game I want to make, and what game engine is going to give me the most flexibility, right? Like, I don't want to put a Porsche engine in a lawnmower. You know what I mean? A lawnmower frame. That's going to be terrible. So I'll have to really consider when the time comes. And I have a couple ideas for a game, right? Like, I think it would be cool to make a Minecraft-like game that is magic based. Right? like magic is embedded into it. I guess kind of like Hytale. I also like the idea of other games, right? I have other game ideas. But I'd have to consider it all. Here, let's put in test, because this is going to send me a localized key. Restbound magic : test. Perfect. So let's take this a step further. So I'm going to copy this format, paste it in, and I'll say requires either a evocation. I'll say requires a an attunement core to be equipped. Should Vice go for broke and make his own game? Go for broke, baby! There you go, new poll. I see it. If you do make a magic game, it'd be interesting to play it. Yeah. Oh, 42 votes, and you absolutely go for broke and make your own game. The viewers have decided. 42 votes? That means 42 people have to be watching, Quixote. It's just, we might as well be in Ventrilo or Teams or Discord, or you know what I mean, in a voice chat where only one person's mic is working and there are two other people. Well, maybe three, with that third one being AFK. There we go. So, requires attunement core to be equipped. Let's go into... Let's grab this. And we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the world messages. And we'll go right here. All right, so let's copy, let's make this a key. I can say, must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. Must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. I'll give you another sentence. Magic, or I'll say attunement core type Attunement core type. Dictates result. I think that will read well. We'll see. Dot reload lang. Shh, semantics. Hey, I made a vent server recently. Oh, you did? Good old Ventrilo. Must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. I don't think I need to add that other sentence. I think this is all I need. Must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher, so that's perfect. Now let's go back into here. So, tier 2, tier 3, right? I also need this to be... I need one more if statement in here. If... else. So I need to look at item path again. Let's look at... Oh wait, the spell cipher is gonna be none. So if it contains dash none, run this, else run this, right? So let me copy this, paste it in here. I'm gonna need this asset location, just like that. Do I have a test already? So that would get rid of that. Here, this whole thing, let's undo... Here we go. Let's get rid of all of this. And for this, I'll say new type. T-Y-P-E, new type. Here we go, just like that. Because the idea is, I still want you to be able to reset one of these. So now I should be able to... Oh, see, I have to equip the attunement core. It's still getting to here, right? So it contains none. Oh wait, let's save. And fireball. There we go. Right, so I want you to reset it. And you know what I will do? I will go into here, and I'll send you a message that says, spell cipher has been cleared. Or I'll say, I want something with erased, right? Spell cipher... There, has been erased. Okay, we could do this for a key. Copy. Paste. With this, we don't need any special font. This is just a straight up informational message. It's not a problem. So I can say like the spell cipher school has been erased. Imprint has been erased. There we go. That reads a little better. Dot reload lang or there we go. There we go. The spell school's the spell cipher school imprint has been erased. Perfect. And that will cost you nothing. I will allow you to reset these back to default at no cost except 1 durability. Magic chalk. Let's go back into here. There we go. And I can do all of this. All right. I need to cut this out. Paste it in here. So I get the must equip an attunement core to create a spell cipher error. So I can get rid of this and this, right? Perfect. Now we need to create the logic, right? You got an emblem on. Which is that. Has emblem. That's all it's doing, right? So now we're in here. And I'm going to preserve this. Has no emblem. Or it has an emblem. Alright, so now I need to get a snapshot of your inventory, right? So now I can say... Let's create a variable. Let's do item slot equals inv. It's basically this. Let's make this a variable, and then let's get item stack equals slot.item stack. Let's also get the collectible object, call it collectible equals stack.collectible. Let's take this further and say string, and we will say code equals collectible.code. String path equals code dot interesting. Maybe, oh, that's asset location. Okay. There we go. Asset location. Now this can be path. That's what it is. And then we will create the string variable because the path is the string. All right, now I can start building. I have all the tools I need. I can say if... Because this right now, all this is checking is that there's an emblem. It is not checking that this emblem is actually something that is from my mod. So we can test this out. By finding one of the random things. Here we go, an emblem. I put that on. Has emblem. We need to be more specific. So that's where we need stuff like this. Literally this if statement. I got to make sure it is an attunement core, and then we need to take a look at that item again and make sure, and then start parsing out if it's evocation, alteration, whatever. And this is going to be path, right? So we are going to mark this as code, right? And we need more. We need a return. Because since 1.22, I have seen many crashes related to an item stack that has null information for the collectible object, the asset location code, and the path string as well. And that results in a hard crash. So we need to say collectible equals null, or code equals null, or path equals null, right? So this is assuming an item stack can still be an item stack with no registry information at all. And if any of those things are null, don't even bother. Just stop, because it's going to cause a crash. Now we can go forward assuming everything is not null. So from the code, we'll get the domain to make sure it's my domain. And we will get the path to make sure it contains the attunement core. I'm going to get another message. Actually, I'm going to use this message. Paste. Right? So the idea is, in here, I'm going to have a return to stop it going forward. If it turns out it's not, so this should work here. Let's fireball this in. I should get the error message now, and I do, right? So I'm saying you must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. And if I put this on and take that other one off, I get nothing, right? Because now we're branching into here. Now I need more if statements. And I'm going to have to do this for each object, right? Each item. I'm going to... I mean, basically, it's going to be something like this. So if path dot contains evocation, and you know what? We're going to make this better. Spell school dot evocation dot toString. That way, if I ever change the name of the evocation stuff, it will automatically change it here. And if it contains evocation, and copy. Paste. We're going to make a new asset location. And I'll say school. I'll say school type. I'm going to basically want all of this. And this is going to be school type. Okay, I could do this a little different. I could do this just a little different. Let me copy this, paste. And I guess evocation can be the default. Or I'll do none. Hold on. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. There we go. So I'm going to create something that's going to set it to the default, right? And then I can cut that out and just paste that in there. And have something like this, right? So if it's evocation, change it to evocation. If it's alteration, change it to alteration. Incantation, change it to incantation. Conjuration, change it to conjuration. There we go. And I'm doing it like this because if I add a 5th spell school, this could cause a problem. If I add a 5th one, it's just going to rewrite the same. The only thing you're out is 1 durability. And maybe after a time or two, you'll be like, wait, something's not right. Oh, you know. So this is future-proofing me. Because I have had an idea to create like another spell school. Actually create numerous, right? Like alteration would become pure healing. Abjuration would become buffs. I had a bunch. Divination. I think that would be like the True North spells and you know, like the Surface Ascent spell and stuff like that. Incantation would stay kind of like debuffs. There'd be conjuration. I have like a list somewhere. Should it be in if else, if with an else, with an error or something, if you add another spell school? I don't have to do that specifically. An else statement would make this a nested if statement, like if I put else after all this. It doesn't do too much. If anything, it would maybe save a check. Right? Like if it's evocation, it wouldn't go any further, so technically I could put it in for something like that. But I don't really see a need to do that. It's not really saving. That's the only benefit it would have. I don't really need something in to remind me, right? The fact that you would create this new, like I would create the new spell school and you would use this on the ground and it gives you a blank back would be enough to tell people, like someone could tell me, oh, hey, you know, like I tried to use this and this is what happened. Because when I create a new spell school, all I have to do is go in here, right? Type something in, and then I can pull up something like this, do a search for, you know, this specific spell school evocation, and then find everywhere in my code where I'm using this, right? Which would include this, right? So I can do this, find all, and this would be all the stuff that I would have to probably touch. And this is going to be more helpful than giving someone like an error or a print statement. You know what I mean? That some tech-savvy people may not even get, because a lot of my print statements won't even show up in your server console. They only show up in like my stuff. So it's a calculated, lazy approach. Like I said, the only thing though, if I did want to make this a little more efficient, right, it would skip these checks because it's already this. So at that point, it would be else if, and then else if, right? So I mean, it would save a little bit, but no one's ever gonna notice or see it. I'll leave it like this. Technically, I optimized it. So I need to do something before any of this. I need to put a bool up here. Bool is valid. False. If return. So if this is not valid, then I'm going to want to send a message to the player. And I shouldn't say is valid, I should say has mana. Has required mana. I need 2 bools. I need an is valid false and a required mana. So if it turns out to be one of these, I need to say is valid equals true, right? We need to turn on the switch like, yes, it is actually an approved spell school thing you have equipped on. Out of curiosity, since you seem to be checking one thing, why not use a switch versus if statement? You're doing the same thing, just in a different way. I don't think a switch is more cost effective, resource effective. It's just another way. It's like writing the same story, one in cursive, one in, you know, print. That's to my knowledge, anyways. Like a switch would be good if I had like a lot of unique cases, and then I had like an enum kind of iterating through those unique cases, right? I could also do this as a for each loop as well. So it's just a different way of doing it. Yeah, switch case and if else, if are essentially equivalent, yeah. Just another way to do it. Switch is designed to be more efficient in its function versus if statement until around 5 or fewer checks. Well, yeah, see, and we are on 4. Right? Yeah, so if I had, like, for instance, I use a switch case on oh god, what is it? Seeds, right? On the different seeds that you can get at random, because there are 17 variants, right? So instead of 17 like things in the nested if statement, I use a switch for that. So yeah, so we're on 4 checks. So it's not really saving anything. And honestly, I prefer looking at a nested if statement for smaller things like this, instead of a switch. I use switch stuff very sparingly. Like if it's a big list of things, I'll use a switch statement. So we need to go down to here, right? So if this is not valid, then just return. I don't need to tell you. You know, I probably should tell you. Right? So if you didn't go into here, then I'm not going to do anything further. I'm just going to send you a message saying, like, hey, you have magic chalk in your hand. You have an item that is somehow an attribute or an attunement core that is not an attunement core for a specific spell school, right? So this is covering us if someone makes a mod of my mod and they add their own kind of attunement core through JSON trying to create a new spell school. This isn't going to crash if someone puts that on and it's not specific to a spell school. I'll just tell them it requires the attunement core to be equipped. And then at that point, I'd probably get something where it's like, I have this attunement core, and then when they tell me, oh, well, it's from Flippy Nip's thing, and he's trying to add a new thing called divination for a spell school, it's like, well, more work needs to be done then. At least it won't crash Flippy Nip's, it won't crash the game because of that mod by creating an invalid item. So now I need to do a check here. This will also have a return. And I can just say, like, insufficient mana. Oops. Something like this. Let's scroll down. With attribute. I can say, item creation failed, it's insufficient mana. Requires blank mana. There, we'll stop the game. We'll go back into here. I'm going to copy this, paste it here. Oh, and send packet player message. This is going to be with attribute. Or, with variable is what I call it. And the variable is going to be the MP cost, right? So let's scroll to the top. I'm going to create a public int. I will say spell cipher mana cost. We'll make this whoops, a get set unloaded. We will say this dot spell cipher equals 50 for now. We need 2 of these, tier 2 and a tier 3. Tier 3 is going to be more expensive. Tier 2, tier 3, at 200. Now I can copy. We're gonna need an int. I could either do 2 bools or an int. Because it's gonna look like this. So I'll separate stuff out. So in here I can say we'll make it an int, and I'll say tier type. And I'll default it to 2. Or you know what, I could default it to 0. Right, so we got something like this. Now, up here, I can say int mana cost equals 0. If tier type equals 2, copy, paste, right? So if tier type equals 2, mana cost is going to equal this dot, right? The mana cost for this. If it's 3, it's going to be the tier 3. And now I can say if mana cost is less than player dot launched attributes dot get int armor references dot this is going to be current mana. There we go. That's the resource I want. Entity behavior resource current mana. And just in case, I'm going to make this 1 by default. Just in case for some weird reason you found a way to get this far without actually having anything saved on your player for current mana. We will assume it is 1. Actually, we'll assume it's 0. Because then even if it's 0, right, this should still trigger, right? Actually, no. This would have to be 1. We'll assume you have 1 mana point. Oh, you know what? You know what it needs to be? This needs to be a 1. That's what it is. And then this is 0. There we go, right? Wait, no, what am I trying to do, guys? If the mana cost is greater than, that's what it is. There we go, that's what it is. So if the mana cost, which we can have at 0, is greater than your current mana, then send this, and then that can be a 1. There we go. That would make sense. Wait, am I too tired? I stayed up late playing Cult of the Lamb last night. I felt sad. My oldest followers, the OGs, are starting to die from old age. Twas a sad time. I had to. Luckily, I had the cannibalism doctrine in place, so they didn't go to waste. Right, so mana cost, like, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to see if your Dracus, how goes? Oh, it goes. It goes. I'm struggling on something basic right now, so it's going. I could put in mana cost here. I could do mana cost dot to string, right? Because we're going to convert that to a string, pass it through. All right, let's see if we did it. Build. Boop. So I need to be under 50 mana. And I should see the error, and then I can get 50 mana or above, and I should see, you know, I shouldn't see the error, and it should go through and process the item. Without taking mana, right? Because we didn't add... Let's add something in here. It's going to be RM helpers dot... consume mana, and let's do player.world. The consumed amount would be mana cost, and you get no magic experience for this. Feel that. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so how much mana do I have? I have 147 mana. So this should work. Oh, I have no attunement core. Let's put that on. Item creation failed. Insufficient mana. Requires 200 mana. Oh, is this the tier 3? Oh, crap. This is the tier 3, so that's great. Let's get the tier 2 version of this. No XP, yeah, no magic experience at all. You get experience through casting spells. Here we go, tier 2. There we go. This guy's kind of weird colors. Alright. Oh. Must equip, wait, I got the attunement core. Must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. 147. Oh, has required mana. Oh, that is false, right? So if you don't have the acquired... So in here... I see what I did. It's getting past here, but it's failing here. I need that there. And in here, I can say, has required mana equals true. Now it's going to trigger correctly, right? So if the mana cost is greater than or equal to, right? Because you can have 50 mana. Your current mana. Oh, wait, no, it's the other way. Jesus Christ. If your mana is greater than or equal to the mana cost, that's what it is. And I can have that at 0. That's what it is. And then I could set that to true. If it doesn't pass this check, then it just runs this. If it passes this check, it goes through and creates the item. That's it. Boop, there we go. And we created the evocation. Excellent. Think we did it. Use this. And it consumed my mana, so I'm at 97 now. So here we go. So it created the evocation for that. I can put it back down and erase it. Spell Cipher School imprint has been erased. That's excellent. Now I'm getting the insufficient mana because I am at 47 mana. 52. I can get myself to exactly 50 by spending 2 mana, casting Transmutation 1. Boop, there we go. Alright, I am at 50 mana exactly, so it should succeed. And it did. But the Spell Cipher School imprint has been erased. That is not correct. We need something new here. We need a success. Let's say, has been changed. There we go. It's perfect. I have such a way with words. It's a gift. There we go. Oh, you know what? You know what I should do? Hold on. There we go. I want to preserve this. So I don't need anything for is valid. I need an if statement here. Cut and paste, right? Okay, something like this. And I can actually move this up to here. There we go. So if I go into school type, .path.contains -none cut, paste, cut, paste. There we go. So if this is writing the blank item, then say that it's been changed. No. It would be the other way. I had to write the first way. There we go. So if it's none, then it's been erased, right? Because we are about to create the item. Like the change happened up here. That's it, right there. Okay, let's test. Let's grab a bunch of mana this time. Now I'm going to put this down. And I'm going to use my magic chalk. There we go. The spell cipher school imprint has been erased, and it is indeed a blank. Now let's make sure the same logic runs if you have nothing equipped. I should still, as a mage, be able to do that. Yep, there we go. The spell cipher school imprint has been erased. Excellent. Now let's put down a blank. Must equip an attunement core to create a specific spell cipher. Oh, and by erasing those, it did not cost us any mana, right? No mana charge. Now I need to put this on. And then bam, there we go. So, oh, we got to do dot reload lang. Let's try that again. There it is. The spell cipher school imprint has been changed. There we go. So I am sending you, I think, enough information. And let's just double check things, right? So I'm at 33. If I try to do this is the tier 2. It should give me an error saying that it requires 50 mana. There we go. Item creation failed, insufficient mana, requires 50 mana. I think that is great. What do you guys think? Solid? We got it? Nailed it. Boop. Actually want the italicized. Item creation failed due to insufficient mana. That sounds better. Nods. There we go. We're good. All right. So now all of this kind of pairs together, right? Now you can look at this new thing and see a list of all the spells. Oh, we gotta add textures. Hold on. VS Model Creator. Is it supposed to rain today? I want to cook pork chops. Let's pull up the Spellforge. Oh, these are all still called Cube. I'll say, I'll do research results 1. Here, research results frame. I think that's better. That will be 2, 3, 4. And this one can just be the research results. Screen. There we go. Screen 1. feel like I got something in my eye. Oh. So now let's go into what do I want these colors to be? I could have it be this blue. What is this called? Cube 126. Let's manually open this shape. So we are looking at Mana Stone 1. Wow, that's old. That's back when Enchanted Stone was called Mana Stone. So old! Alright, and anywhere you see null, which should just be this new section, you make a Mana Stone 1, so frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. This one's going to be different. I could have it be just the rust color. So it could be like this on the outside with the rust on the inside. It'd be that there. For now. Yeah, what is that called? Cube 21. Rusty Glow 2. Oh, it looks like default. Let's set those to default. And then that can be Rusty Glow 2. Save, Fireball. We can close this right out. Would you like to save now? No. Do a full reload, so that should fix the model. Think we did it. Think we got it. There we go. Like a screen that you look at. I could make this glow. Wow, I didn't add any glowing parts to this model? Holy crap. So I never, like, edited the names for what everything is. I never added, like, these are supposed to be glowing. Oh, boy. You know what? While we're in here, I'm not gonna do the boring clerical renaming, but I'm gonna add some glow. Damn. Oh, come on. New. Yes. File. Open. There we go. Glow 250. Copy that. Make that glow. Right. I can close that out. And paste. 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 And let's do the other side. Paste. 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 Let's get that. 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 And that. All right. File, save. Reload. This should look more magical. Oh, I forgot the parts on the bottom. That's all right. We'll get to it. Let me in. Load. In total darkness, that's what it's gonna look like. Oh! I totally messed up. We're gonna have to edit this as well because I only did one face. I gotta apply this stuff to all the faces. But this will make it easier. We'll do 250 for that glow. We'll zoom in, 250, 250. There we go. We're gonna open up the Spellforge. I can just do File New, so nothing gets confused. And anything with glow, let's look for 250. That's what I want. And I'm gonna do a multi-line click here, right? So it's gonna be this, 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 and this. We're gonna paste it in. There, put that brace back in. There we go. Okay. Next, it's going to be this. So again, 2, 3, 4. Next, again, multi-line. Paste. Sad that it's just easier to do it this way than do it in the model creator. All right, multi-line again. Paste. Easy. All right, a little more. Here we go. Next. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Almost. Save all of that. Okay, then all of this stuff I think is going to be together, so I can do that. Oh, crap. That. Paste, undo, there we go, I did that batch. I hate that it keeps trying to, like, format it for me. It's like, stop, just stop. Alright, then this... Paste, undo, that looks good. And then we got all of this, right? So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a quick paste and undo. Let's just double check. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. 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 Back at it with this. I noticed if you have too many of these cursors for like the multi-line selection going, it can lag out Visual Studio. Whoops. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paste, undo. Alright, so that looks good, that looks good, that is good, that is good. Next, let me save. Two, 3, 4, 5. Almost towards the end here. I think this is going to be worth the time. Make it feel a little more magical. Paste, undo, there we go. So there are my cursors. That looks good, that's good, that's good. That's good. All right. Anything else? Nope. That's it. Save. Fireball. Bam. Yeah, look at that. This is the glow in total darkness. I'd say that looks pretty good. Oh, guys, I forgot the grill. I forgot the inner part. And it's actually, if you look at it, it's actually brighter too. So that definitely looks a lot better. But that, oof, Eek Murma Durkle. Let's open this back up. Oh, this isn't gonna be that bad. We'll make this, instead of 250, I'm gonna do 249. I have a very specific reason why it's 249. And yeah, the whole part that comes down is all one big thing. File save. Well, you know, I think it should be like 420 or something. Hey, Vexes, I don't want to crash the game. There we go. So now it's easier to check all the stuff I just put in. That's the only reason why I made it 249. And it's so, there's so little difference. No one will ever notice the glow difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, another multi-line select. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's paste all that in and get rid of the formatting. All right, so that's good, that's good, that's good, 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 good. All right, let's continue. How you doing, Vexus? Hope your Sunday is going well. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paste, undo. All right, double check these. That's good, that's good, good, good. God damn, how many more do I have? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, 5. This should be the last one. Yep. Paste, undo. All right, double check these. So that's good, good, good. All right, save. Reload. Doing good. Just sat down and saw you were streaming, so I wanted to come hang out and see what you were up to. Yeah, we are. I am making the magic mod better. So I saw that people are having a problem figuring out what spells are available. So we have created this little box here, right? And this is kind of placeholder. I want to put like a specific image in here. But for now it's just Rusty Dust. So you'll see like it gives you, it's an information panel, right? So insert a spell cipher to see a list of researchable spells, right? So any spell cipher you put in and then look at this, it will give you a list of all the potential spells you can discover. So I'm taking the guesswork out of it. That also means that these specific ciphers, like this one, right? Where it's the, this is the tier 2 dark evocation cipher. When you put it in, it limits it to a very small group, right? And that's by design. The problem is I tell you specifically what each one is, right? So if you're looking for Daze or Shockwave, right, you got a 50-50 chance using this particular cipher setup. So what you used to have to research before, because there was a way to find it, it's just people didn't know how to do it, right? Because before you would just open up your handbook and say, I want to know fear. I want the fear spell. I click on it, and I can see it's tier 2, so I would use a tier 2 dark cipher and the evocation specific one, right? So that right there is fear, which you would see right here, right? So now we created a new system where, you know, because the problem now is that you have all of these things that you would just kind of cycle through, and that's too cheap. Because I'm giving you information, right? This has to have like a cost more than 1 durability. So now we have it to where it's going to cost 50 mana or 200, whatever tier 2 to tier 3, and you have to have an attunement core on. So because I have the evocation attunement core, I can turn this when I get 50 mana. I can turn that into the evocation specific cipher, right? And I can kind of come in here. Here, we'll pick this up. I put this down, right? And I see Dazer Shockwave. So I am giving people more information is what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I can see why, yeah. So yeah, and I think it's better overall, but that's what we're working on. See, this was some of the old stuff. I'm like, what if I make a new rune? I was gonna make a new item. We checked like everything, and this is it. Oh, and this is a new block we're gonna be working on as well. A new magic station, but for now this. I don't like all that rust kind of being there, although maybe it's not bad. Maybe I can make it kind of semi-transparent. Nah. Honestly, I don't think it looks bad. That looks okay to me. That's okay. Perfect. All right, so that is that. I think we did it. It's finished. You can now see all the research information just like that. It's perfect. Look at that. So this one is the tier 3 neutral. So I would expect to see Cataclysm, Immobilize, Void Pulse, and then the Rust Nova, Rust Orb, and Spike Shield that came from tier 2. That looks good. Boop. I like to make a new station skin with hands holding palm up and bones as the pillars going up. That sounds awesome. Sounds very necromancer of you. How necromancer. Alright, so let's pull out the old achievement list here. This is... I guess I never added this to the list. Add. Maybe I just like to make it more eerie looking. I'm telling you, when I'm done with this stuff, I do want to make a summon skeleton spell. I want to start adding some of the necromancer-esque spells that I've always wanted to add. So summon skeleton is coming. And what I want to be able to do is throw out like bones. So the way the spell's gonna work is you're gonna have whatever bones, right? And you're gonna throw out the bones, and then you're gonna cast the spell on the bones to like summon your skeleton. It's gonna be so good! So good! And then I will look at the summonable entity system, and create an inventory system for those summons, so you'll be able to give them like summon weapons, and they will use those summon weapons to attack with. And then an armor system, right? So maybe you can equip them with armor. I'm thinking that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. You make the skeletons, will they rattle their bones? They should have idle animations. As long as the skeleton inevitably starts with a J for a name, like EverQuest, yeah, right? Jariel Scamel. It's great. I'll get a random name generator for him. It'd be even better, that summon skeleton spell, I would love to use it on the body of a player, and it would summon a skeleton with the player's name. I think that would be awesome. It wouldn't do anything to the player corpse, but it would summon a skeleton based on the player. Or that could be a summon zombie spell. Summon zombie. Oh, that's such a classic EQ summon. I love it. Oh man. Okay, so and we added glow. So let me add this stuff here. Added glow to the Spellforge model. And I also added a hitbox on, or it's not a hitbox technically, it's a selection box on the Spellforge that displays the potential discoverable spells from an inserted spell cipher. There we go. So I can mark this as done. Done. That is done. Okay. All right, let's start plowing through some other stuff. Do another reference from Drit's Duerin books, D&D. Yeah, it could. Yeah. Those could be config options. Maybe it would be easier for me to allow you to rename your pets. maybe I just need to add that system then. That way you can name your pet anything you want. Anything at all. Okay. Next thing on the list. Someone suggested to add a new config option for the Talisman of Warding. Set the ward to affect entities over 50 hit points. Okay, so this is coming from an individual that has creatures in their server that have up to 200 health, because it's a hard mode server. And the Talisman of Warding doesn't affect creatures with, it's 50, it's static for the health pool. So that being the case, let's pull up we're gonna have to make some config options here. So this is going to be the Talisman. Here we go, Talismans. Talisman of Warding. It's going to be in the apply fear, right? So I need to turn this into a config. Let's do it. Let's open up the config and the references. Let's look for warding. Description block, Talisman of Warding. So this is going to be the duration a Talisman of Warding lasts. I think I have something else down here. So that's the reagent amount. So copy, paste. This is going to be an int. Nope, this is going to be a float. I'll say Talisman of Warding, max creature HP. Health. Creature max health. There are the words. And for this, I will keep it at 50. This will be creature max health. And copy, paste, paste. And this is going to be duration. I'll say the amount. Instead of the, I could just say amount of max health a creature. How do I want to word this? Amount of max health a creature can have for the Talisman of Warding here, or Talisman of Warding effect to be applied. Right? Amount of max health a creature can have for the Talisman of Warding effect to be applied. Does that sound right? Max amount of health, you think? I am terrible with wording. Max amount of health a creature can have for the Talisman of Warding effect to be applied. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Shin. Thank you. For this, it's going to be 50. Whoops. I'll say the minimum of 1, the max of 99999, whatever. Perfect. Now I'm going to copy this into my text doc, because I need that for later. Now we need to add this stuff to, here we go. We're going to have to add it to a bunch of packets and whatnot. So in here, I need this key. In here, copy paste. Paste, paste, right? I need that key in there. I need to create the proto contract for this. Copy paste, and there we go. So the proto contract has been made. I need to add this to my helpers as well. Copy paste. And then down here, we need to pass this through. Copy. Paste. There we go. So this is indeed a float. Let me double check. Config float. Perfect. We're going to save. There we go. Okay, so this should send that information as a packet from the server to people's clients without overriding their personal settings. Now we can go back into the Talisman of Warding, and I can say rustboundmagic.config. Talisman of Warding creature max health. There we go. Save. Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Nice. Did you ever manage to fix that Oculus Grimoire randomizer bug? Nope. It is on the list right there. We are not there yet. We are going down the list. So that is done. Next thing, okay, I partially started this. People wanted more config options to change the maximum time that gets applied to utility blocks based on the rune stones that are used. I think I started doing that. Let's just stop the game. And we can close that out for now. I need the utility block. Oh, let's look at the config first. Okay, so I did create options here. And these are ints. Let's look at block entity generic. So these are fine as a float. But are they? Look for anything that is max burn time. I don't think I'm doing anything. Well, the fuel time is a float, so the max burn time is a float. So this option should also be a float. So let's go back into not messages. Where'd my config go? There it is. So instead of ints, this can be float. Float, which means these need to change as well. F. There we go. Save. And we're going to go back into here. Do a primary search. And this is going to be similar. Let's pop this out. So right here, I need config dot. I'm going to need this. Copy, paste. So that is 2, that is 3. Okay, that's not anything. All right, we need to add this to the network messages. Paste. copy, paste, paste. So that's going to be the tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 3. We're going to have to make the proto contracts for these. These are all going to be floats. Paste, copy, paste, paste. So that's going to be the tier 2, the tier 3. And now we need to set it up here. This is going to be a float. Copy, paste, copy, paste, paste. So that's tier 2, that's tier 3. Then further down, it's going to be that. Copy, paste, paste. So that is 2, 2, 3, and 3. There we go. So there should be no errors. Build. There we go. Success. We need to test this. Hey, Elder, good morning. How goes it? Any plans for the 4th? I plan on grilling and swimming. Those are my plans for the 4th. You got any plans? How you doing? Have you been playing on the EQ progression server? EQ2 progression server? Build. I already did build. Play. Let's pull up the config. Rustbound Magic. Nope. Vintage Story. Data mod config. Here we go. Tiny Tailscapes. Hi, yeah, how's it going? It's going well. I am a little preoccupied because it is like bright and sunny out here. I want to go swimming, and then I have a bunch of pork chops that I want to season up and grill. So I'm a little distracted, but you know, I'm here. I haven't made any huge errors so far. Hope you're doing well. How you doing? Okay, so this config option should change this. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, right? That's what it is right now. Save some for me. Actually, I think I got some Doritos too that I can snack on after stream. Snack on some tasty, delicious Doritos, and then go for a swim and grill. It's gonna be great. Sounds delicious. I'm just having ramen, so I'm a bit jealous. Yeah, it's I made burgers last night on the grill. It was delicious. Delicious. Okay, let's pull up our configs. Let's turn off. Okay, word wrap is off. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Here we are. Nope, that's not it. What's the keyword I'm looking for? Tier 1 rune stones. Whoops. Oh, that's not it. This is the keyword. There we go. So 120, so I think because it's 60-60, right? So that's 2 hours, 4 hours. So what if I add a 0 to this? We'll just make this 24 minutes. And I'll make that 300. At Fireball. Oh, wait. We need to save this file. Save. Reload. Damn, I should balance this game better with RL and start cooking again. RL, it is quite the balance. I still have a run to do. Not looking forward to that. I may just down some water. Get my run done. Ew, look at that. Total 2, 4, 6 hours. That ain't right. Let me look at the block info. I may be putting in static stuff. So status on off. So I'm looking for time. Okay, here we go. So I'm getting this through a calculate fuel time. So time none, max time is what I want, right? So that's the calculation of that time. It's static. It's free. It's not even using the burn time. Oh, Vice, you lazy. Oh. It's embarrassing working with this guy sometimes. Paste. There we go. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours. A lot of hours. There you go, guys. So let's put this back, right? So that's 120, this was 240, and this is 360. File save. There, we'll be able to mark this off the list. That's if it goes back to like 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever, right? I may need to adjust the math, because thinking about it, like 72,000, yeah, that is not correct. What I need a calculation. I need to be able to parse this through. Let's copy this, paste. So this is going to be calculate max time. This is going to use this dot max burn fuel time. Less than a minute. And then up here, instead of that, I can do this dot calc max time. Here we go. Save. Fireball. Less than a minute hours. That ain't right. Not sure what plans are for the 4th. Might be doing something with friends. Nice. What is it like to have friends that live near you? must be nice. Yeah. That sounds good. If anything, we may have, you know, family come over. It doesn't hinder my plans for my grill. How long have you been playing VS? Years. Many years. Many years. It's got to be like 4 or 5 years, maybe 6, maybe 7. I think maybe 7 years. I have 2 that live with me. Oh yeah, we got roomies. So this doesn't seem quite right. Save again. So what I should be seeing is this value becomes 240. Oh, duh. I have one more thing to change. Hold on. It's in here. Max, this dot max. This is the variable I want. Let's scroll to the top. So this is what I need to do. Down here. Oh, wait, I'm doing it already? Okay, I'm doing it already. Crap. So that ain't it. Let's add a print statement here. RMR references.logger. I want to see what it thinks the value is. Max time equals, and it's going to be this variable right here. Copy paste. Getting a lot of information. Nice, I'm new, about a week in and loving it so far. Yeah, it is a solid game for sure. Are you doing a vanilla playthrough first, or are you doing the modding experience right off the bat? There we go. That's better. Let's get transmutation. So it sees the max fuel time as something greater. So it's gotta be time calculations. That's the anti-magic generator. What is this? Okay, that is the permafrost matrix I'm working on. I have one more of these things here sitting somewhere. Is it? No, it's not there. Come on, where is it? Seriously, where is it? Come on, don't make me put a print statement in for the block position. Don't make me do it. Oh, it's on anything. So it was from the, okay, so it was from that. All right, so that's fine. Okay. let's pull up stability stabilizer. Here we go, the botanical matrix. So it's seeing something. It's seeing the right value. Potentially. Wait a minute. 240. Let's pull up the calculator. Let's do 240 times 60. Yeah, so that is the correct number. Excellent. Mods make it so much better. I stubbornly refuse to play until someone made a magic mod. Oh, good. So I should see some of those proceeds then, right? I'm glad. I'm glad. Glad people like this mod, because I put a lot of work into it. I wanted to do vanilla first, but ended up installing a bunch of mods. None of the mods should be making things easier, though, so added the primitive mod, so there's more gameplay. Yeah, that's good. It was more mods people recommended while I was playing. Love the primitive mod. Yeah, primitive survival's a solid mod. It's gone! Primitive survival's gone? Hope not. One of my friends was like that too. Always the mage in the group, but it's great to see. Yeah. Magic does make you feel more powerful. Alright, let's run the calculations here. So that, I believe, is right. Let's pull up the calculator. 60 times 120. Yep, 72,000. Yep. And 60 times 360, so that's going to be 21,600. Yep. So these numbers are indeed correct. Now the question is, for the time calculation, tell me what it thinks T is. RMR references dot. You know what? Actually, I don't need that. Oh, guys, I didn't restart the game. I added a method and I never restarted. No wonder why it's coming up with, like, zeroed out everything. Oh, God. Oh. Yep. And you know what? It's just about time for me to get off and be an adult. I've been streaming 2 hours, 59 minutes. I set myself a max for 3 hours. No, not primitive survival. I was talking about you saying you might having to make a print statement. Yeah, oh, okay. And it's gone. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Also just feel like every survival game these days tries to be hardcore realistic, and like I'm gonna be fighting horrors beyond comprehension. Let me throw something back at them, right? Yeah, right? Still the same thing. Yeah, makes sense for sure. Feel like we should have more rust-afflicted things like creatures too. Yeah, go adult. I don't want to, but I got to. I don't wanna, but I gotta. It's interesting because this is a combination of things. So let me fix this. Where is it? Where's my info? Here we go. So what I want is to cut this out, paste it in here, paste that there. There we go. So it's not going to be a jumble of a string embedded in a string. There we go. Less than a minute. Oh yeah, wait, let's undo this. I need to remove this tip. Right, so it's going to be a total of whatever hours. Copy. Save. Go back into here. Total of... That's really all I needed here. So instead of about, it's going to be total of... Total of 1 minute. And I will just set it to be even 0. There we go. Okay, where's my save? Here it is. Move the output. Hey, Tiny, thanks for the follow. All right, I'm gonna just check this out. There we go. So that's fine. It's just there is a problem with the calculation. Let's search for that. Next time I can get rid of this. So I no longer need those print statements. So when I come back, I can do that. Hey, don't forget we're playing July 2nd. Yeah, I saw it changed. July 2nd. That is this coming Thursday. Nice. Yeah, I have the time moved. I moved my days off for that. Yeah, I'm gonna be no-lifing that probably. If it's good, right? I'll give it a bunch of time. If it's good, it's gonna take my life. Is it? Can we get it yet in Steam? Last I checked, I didn't even see it in Steam. Let's pull up Steam. YouTube. Let's check. 1 second, guys. Steam Summer Sale! Arc. Tides. Nope, there's no Tides of Fortune. That's what makes me nervous, right? They're saying, oh yeah, it's coming out July 2nd, everyone. But it's not in Steam, right? To like pre-order or anything. Oh, so Oder, Arc is coming out with an expansion called Tides of Fortune, which is basically gonna be Atlas in Arc. And I am all about Atlas. It's so I'm gonna be playing with Vexus, and I don't know, Vexus, whoever else is gonna be joining. They don't ever release it like that. It's always like they tease it and then drop it like it's hot. Yeah. All right, let's find someone to raid. Twitch. Twitch.tv. Who is currently playing? Wow, I got a lot of people on. You know what? Let's raid Perkcuss.
Before we get going.
We are gonna raid old Perkcuss. If you ever want to watch someone actually play the game and have them be good at it, Perkcuss is your man. I'll wait to see. I've given too much money to that company for them to have horrible support for servers. Yeah, this is like the first one that I'm like buying only because of Atlas. This is the one and only time they're gonna get my money. Anything else, I'll wait for a sale. Gonna be playing EQ Legends. Oh, I gotcha. Let me tell you, if EQ Legends, like if they made it look better, like with the better graphics, I'd probably give EQ Legends a try. I just don't know if I could do that to myself. Like I need some kind of visuals. some kind of visuals with it. I don't know what that company's kick is with having like 1999 graphics on like all of their flagship stuff, but it's fucking killing me. It's killing me. I get it. You probably have like 4 people in the studio, one person that knows the code, you know what I mean, and does the work. I get it, but goddamn, I still remember how depressed I was, Odor, seeing one of their live streams where it's like, oh, we added new animations. You could be a gnome monk in the gnome monk kick. And it was the saddest excuse for an animation. Like, it looks like a high schooler did it for a class and they failed that project. Like, it was bad. Like, it rendered, it did something, but they put no heart into it. And all the AQ guys are like, this is the best ever. Oh my god. I'm like, oh god, terrible. So that's my rant, everyone. We're gonna go rate per cuss. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, adios, see you later, bye.